Another beautiful lot of Ladybird books, starting with something that I've referenced in a previous lot, this one here. What to Look For in Winter. A beautiful book, lots of gorgeous illustrations, just as in all the series. This one, series 536, Wills and Hepworth, so pre-Ladybird books. What have we got in terms of details? 2 shillings and 6pence. Belonged to Jack Clark, 1959. Nice book, beautiful illustrations, as I said earlier, great clean pages, and a nice cover. What to Look For in Winter, Ladybird books. In fact, I'm going to move this lamp a little bit and take that up to there so we've got a bit more space. Okay, beautiful book. What to Look For in Winter. Changing themes completely. Rapunzel, Well-Loved Tales. Series 606D. And Rapunzel, looking at this list, is book 14. 1968, Wills and Hepworth. With full colour illustrations and simple text, this book tells the well-loved story of Rapunzel. Still with well-loved tales, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I think this was a tale that I knew as a little boy long before I had my first Ladybird book, perhaps when I was 3 or 4 years old, I'm not sure, but it feels like that. Well-Loved Tales, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, series 606D, and here we appear as book 21, 24p, Ladybird Books Limited. 1971, look at that, gorgeous little cottage in the woods. One morning, Mother Bear cooked some porridge for breakfast. She put it into 3 bowls. There was a very big bowl for Father Bear, a medium-sized bowl for Mother Bear, and a tiny little bowl for Baby Bear. Beautiful. What else have we got? Some modern ones here. The Little Mermaid. The Brave Little Tailor. And The Ugly Duckling. Let's talk about Baby. An old book, scuffed, 30p. Belonged to Philip Plant of Hull. Illustrated by Harry Wingfield and compiled by Ethel Wingfield. Some pages here that have been taped together. Obviously, the previous owner perhaps ripped out a page or two, and then his parents sellotaped them back. Talk about Baby. Snow White and Rose Red. Vikings, Read, Discover and Learn. £2.50. Gosh, that was a pricey book. What have we got as a date in here? Very simple illustrations. Vikings. Puddle Lane, the Magic Books, and Puddle Lane, the Vanishing Monster. Reptiles. Puddle Lane, to make that a nice little 3 across the board. Tim Catchamouse. Oh, I remember this. The Enormous Turnip, a Ladybird easy reading book. 18p. Belonged to somebody called Lambert. I'm guessing that was a surname. The Enormous Turnip, retold by Vera Southgate, and illustrations by Robert Lumley. Ladybird Books Limited, Loughborough, formerly Wills and Hepworth, 1970. Once upon a time in the spring, an old man sowed some rows of turnip seeds in his garden. Beautiful. Well-loved tales, The Little Mermaid. Another from the Puddle Lane series, The Wideawake Mice Go to Market. The Big Pancake. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The Princess and the Pea. Beauty and the Beast. If you love, or your children or grandchildren love fairy tales, then this particular lot, which is lot 6, I think has a lot of appeal. Here's a much older one, The Princess and the Frog. Sleeping Beauty. Thumbelina. Rapunzel. The Big Pancake. 24p, Ladybird Books. And this is series 606D and book 23. A nice little inscription there, to Mark from Grandma. Very simple, but nice. 1972. Once upon a time there was a mother who had 7 little boys, 7 hungry little boys. One day the mother began to make a very big pancake for her 7 hungry little boys. She took flour, salt, eggs and butter and mixed a batter. Then she melted some butter in her biggest frying pan. And so the story goes on, and they have to chase the big pancake down the village street. The Wolf and the 7 Little Kids. Chicken Lickin'. First Days of the Holidays. A Man and His Car. Another Sleeping Beauty, a nice book. Here's an even rarer one, Cinderella. 15p, Ladybird Books Limited, series 606D still. 1964. Retold by Vera Southgate again with illustrations by Eric Winter. Once upon a time there was a little girl called Cinderella. Her mother was dead and she lived with her father and 2 elder sisters. Cinderella's elder sisters were beautiful and fair of face, but because they were bad-tempered and unkind, their faces grew to look ugly. They were jealous of Cinderella because she was a lovely child, and so they were often unkind to her. And she cleaned out the cinders. Snow White and Rose Red. Tom Thumb. Jack and the Beanstalk. Story time for 5-year-olds. On the theme of magic food, here's another one, the magic porridge pot. The pot that just kept on feeding the family. This is one of my classic favourites as a little boy. The Little Red Hen and the Grains of Wheat. The Ugly Duckling. The Emperor's New Clothes. British Birds and Their Nests. Tom Thumb. A Puddle Lane book, When the Magic Stopped. And another, The Magician's Raindrops. Little Red Riding Hood. How It Works, the Motor Car. This is a really nice edition here. This is 30p, very good clean boards and a clean spine. Ladybird Books, Loughborough, 1971, series 654. I'm just going to clear some of these to give us some more space. The Gingerbread Boy. Little Red Riding Hood. A classic, Oliver Twist. The Magic Porridge Pot in a more modern version. The Ugly Duckling, Hansel and Gretel, The Wolf and the Seven Little Kids, The Goose Girl, The Princess and the Frog, The Little Mermaid, The Pied Piper of Hamelin, Dick Whittington and his cat. I've got an older version of that within this series somewhere. Thumbelina, The Little Mermaid. Back to the classics again. Remember we just had, where did I see it? Oliver Twist. Here we've got A Christmas Carol. Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Princess and the Pea, Snow White and Rose Red, The Springtime and the Moth Ball, 2 stories in the Fun Guys series. Play With Us, Book 1A. And here's that older Dick Whittington book I spoke of. This one, 2 shillings and 6pence. Look at that. Worn out stock. Given away by permission of the Essex Education Committee. Series 606D, Wills and Hepworth, 1966. Two different editions of The Big Pancake, but both old stock. More recent issues, The Little Mermaid, Tom Thumb, and some modern ones here. Masters of the Universe, He-Man Meets the Beast, and Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, Hannibal on Holiday, and Jack and the Beanstalk. I'm again going to clear the table because I've got so many of these to share with you, and I think sometimes it's nicer to have a little bit of better focal distance on the camera. The Big Pancake, A Book of Saints, A Royal Wedding, The Magic Stone, one of my all-time favourites as a little boy at school, The Elves and the Shoemaker in the Well-Loved Tales series, 606D. Absolutely beautiful. Ladybird Books Limited, Loughborough, 40p. So I had a pre-decimal version of this, but it's still a gorgeous book with great illustrations. Once upon a time there lived a shoemaker and his wife. The man was a good shoemaker and he worked hard, yet he and his wife were very poor. As time went on, they grew poorer and poorer. At last the day came when all the shoemaker had left was one piece of leather. It would only make one pair of shoes. That evening, before he went to bed, the shoemaker cut out a pair of shoes from the leather. He left them on his workbench, all ready for him to sew the next morning. And in the morning, the shoemaker got up early and went into his workshop, ready to make the shoes. On his bench, instead of the leather that he had left cut out, he found a pair of shoes already made. He was astonished and did not know what to think. An encouragement or a belief in the power of magical lives for a little boy. Jesus the Friend, A Christmas Carol. I knew I had another copy. Again, this is a fairly rare book and much loved by collectors. Cinderella, a Ladybird easy reading book, 606D, 40p, Ladybird Books Limited. Beautiful inner cover pages. And this belonged to a Claire Hazelden. Beautiful. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Peter Pan. Talk About the Park. The Sly Fox and the Little Red Hen, a beautiful story. The first Queen Elizabeth with some strangely coloured eyes that some youngster has decided to add depth to. Rapunzel, the Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. Little Red Riding Hood. The Enormous Turnip. Cinderella. The Zoo. Swiss Family Robinson. I rarely see this in any collections that I have, so it's nice to see it here as one of the classics. 60p, actually modern enough to have an ISBN and a barcode. Really quite rare. Leslie Wilkinson. Swiss Family Robinson by Johann Wyss, retold in simple language by Harry Stanton, and illustrations by Brian Price Thomas. Two copies of The Gingerbread Boy. The Magic Porridge Pot, The Firebird, and our final book in this lot 6 of 100 Ladybird books for you, Puss in Boots, a Ladybird easy reading book, 606D, and this is one of the books considered grade 2 in order of reading difficulty. Ladybird Books Limited. Retold by Vera Southgate with illustrations by Eric Winter. Puss in Boots.